Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. Last time we got back to the Somnial, did a lot of supports, and discussed two of Tamara's group, because there's one more that I haven't yet. And today, I am about to make what could be a horrible, horrible mistake. A place of significance to Emblem Ike. Here, the Divine Dragon will face an important trial, and also a lot of powerful weapons in his face. On Maddening, I don't recommend doing this now, unless you're going to cheese it with Astra Storm Luring, which I did on my first Maddening playthrough because I wanted Ike's level 10 engage skills. On hard, though, I actually think I might be ready for this, especially since a lot of the enemies are armored, so will die quite easily to my mages. Okay. Yune, have mercy on us all. Well, actually, technically I should be saying Ashunara, but, I mean, sort of spoilers.
Where are we?
So before I get into this, I need to explain, in case you don't know, the title Radiant Hero is a localization of the Japanese title that Ike had in Radiant Dawn's epilogue, Hero of the Blue Flames, because Path of Radiance is called the Path of Blue Flames in Japanese. And for some reason, the original localization of Radiant Dawn omitted Ike's title from the credits entirely. I don't know why. So the title Radiant Hero didn't debut in English until Awakening. But it's been consistent since then, thankfully.
Gebel Castle. At least that's what it looks like.
Someplace you've been?
Yeah. It's near the border between the nations of Crimea and Gallia. Interesting that this place is where we'll have our trial.
Trial?
We were pursued here by forces from the Kingdom of Dayan. They laid siege, trapping us. Our escape was cut off. The strength of their forces was overwhelming.
Is Ike gonna spoil even more here?
My father had died, and I'd taken up his role as leader of the Grail Mercenaries.
Wow, I interjected that at the perfect time, didn't I? I was like, are they gonna spoil it? Yep, they did, okay. Yeah, so this chapter pretty much takes place right after Ike's darkest hour. In fact, now now that the game spoiled it, I can say, all the way back when I said that Lumera is far from, like, my favorite, plot-mandated death in Fire Emblem, Ike's father, that is my favorite plot-mandated death in the entire series. And I will not say any more, because I just think how it's handled is almost perfect.
And this is where I met my first great trial.
Yeah, this was the first time Ike was forced to step up and actually be the commander of the Grail Mercenaries instead of just a rookie along for the ride.
That sounds rough. What did you do?
I fought to protect my sister and the Grail Mercenaries. If you found yourself in the same situation, what would you do?
I'd like to think I would also fight. I don't want anyone I care about to be harmed.
And I believe you would fight well. So show me how you would defend those near to you. No words now, only deeds.
A trial? You want me to fight you?
If you win this fight, our bond will become even stronger.
And it will also give you the ability to break the game into 1,000,000 pieces.
Understood. I won't lose.
That's the spirit. Now, let's begin.
Yeah, I didn't mention the fact that after this battle happened, Soren was a colossal racist, and that's still, like, Soren kind of improves later, and he has reasons for being like that, as you find out in his supports. Like, he was not treated well by Laguz in the past, so it's just... Still, it's definitely my least favorite Soren moment in the whole story. Like, it's not meant to be, like, super admirable, but anyway, I already went over that at length in my Path of Radiance playthrough. But right, we have, the completely destroyed Gebel Castle here. Ruins, impassable. Yeah, about that, you may see later. My first time playing this, in Engage, I didn't actually encounter this gimmick until, when I played Maddening, but it's kind of interesting if it does happen. So this map is kind of a pretty close recreation. We've got some enemies coming in here, you can choke point them off here. You can also choke point enemies off around here. There's a 2-wide area around here. The enemies are like all promoted. They weren't in the original because this is quite an early chapter. This was chapter 8 of Path of Radiance. We even have an enemy with like an optional droppable item. right where the boss, who was optional to fight in the original, was. I usually like sending Titania out to fight this guy. Yeah, I'm definitely... This is bringing back a lot of memories. And yeah, we've got like a key adept here. Speaking of the enemies carrying gold, we have a sword master there. A sage with thunder here, who probably represents Ileana, who was recruitable on this map. Even though she's probably more meant to represent Soren, because we also have a martial master there representing Reese. I still don't know how his name is pronounced. A fighter here, probably representing Boyd. And then an armor knight here, most likely representing Gatry. But, well, by this point in the game, Gatry actually left you. So, I actually think I'm kind of good with my unit selection. I might just want Lapis. I haven't used Lapis for a while, so I kind of want Lapis to get back in here. And her Armor Slayer might be useful. Not just against all of those generals, but because, for some reason, Ike is considered an armored unit. In fact, I don't think I've even realized that until now, but yeah, he is an armored emblem. He's very slow, but has a lot of defense, a lot of HP, and 2 health bars. You might be thinking, hey, this Demolish skill, that's not going to be useful in the enemy's hands, right? Aha, haha, you'll see. But he also has an addition to resolve this thing. Yeah, kind of spoiling the thing that I'm going to talk about in his second bio. Crit +1 for every HP you've lost. That is terrifying. Also, he has Anchor, but he will move, so it's not like Anchor really does a whole lot. And he can try and go for Great Ether. I feel like his AI doesn't really use that, but also he has Ragnall. A 1 to 2 range sword that gives defense +5 and is very strong. So, yeah, Ike is pretty terrifying to go up against, but he doesn't like magic very much, just like his Radiant Dawn incarnation. So, I had a bit of a silly idea here, and that was to run some mages, namely Clan and I think maybe Ivy, into these generals and then use Aaliyah's Chain Guard, or Lucina Bonded Shield. There's a chance that could be hilarious. The fighters are going to double Louis, so we've got to be careful on that. We also have some walls that can end up being destroyed. But I do want Jean over this side to maybe thunder some of those generals, and also maybe thunder that guy from outside of his range. The thing is, this sniper right here actually makes it a risky prospect to take out these generals from over the wall, because most magic users don't like getting hit by a sniper. And I'm bringing Anna here just because I would like to use her Radiant Bow to slice through, again, armored units. And Emblem Rings. I can't use Ike, but if I'm not bringing Alchrist, I might as well use Ivy, use Lyn on Ivy. Clan's inventory is looking surprisingly barren, but he doesn't need a whole lot to actually kill things. He could take an elixir, though. Yeah, the thing with these is that a lot of people like to sell them just because there's an extra 500 gold that you'll otherwise lose out on. I suppose you could take El Surge if no one else is using that. In that case, I wonder if it's better to actually have Amber go there and try and maybe pick that guy off from a distance. And you never ring at all. Spur Attack could be nice on you. You also need all the help with strength you can get. Okay, I'm going to save to a separate slot here. Let's go.
Give me your best.
So despite Ike representing Path of Radiance, technically, the music here is derived from Radiant Dawn. This is the Devoted, or the Grail Mercenaries theme from, the Grail Mercenaries battle theme from Radiant Dawn. It's basically the same song as the original.
I can fight.
I'm sorry, yeah, if you can't tell, this is the point where I'm going to have my burst of nostalgia, because I am very much a Tellius guy. Like, I've always loved, like, Radiant Dawn is pretty much one of my favorite Fire Emblem games. And, of course, here's Eternal Bond, which has now become Ike's theme, according to Smash Brothers. Path of Radiance, also love that game.
Me, right?
I'll do it.
I might need Lapis's armor slaying ability somewhere.
Here comes Amber.
Wouldn't miss it. Here I go. Sounds perfect.
I don't want to end my turn because then the music will change. Hello there. Okay, that's gonna hit me pretty hard. Despite this map looking pretty choke pointy, it is also fairly... You didn't even try and attack. Wow, okay. Yeah, it is fairly, still fairly player phase focused because you usually want to... Wow, that was lucky dodging from Louis there. Want to rush in and take out as many things as you can. Oh, that's... I was scared for a second that that was a free staff or something, but no, it's just a healing thing. Some enemies on higher difficulties do carry things like free staves. It's potentially a lot of things getting up against one person. So, you there. And by you there, I mean Tamara. Actually, okay, she's not taking a whole ton of damage, which is good. I don't like being a coward and...
My turn?
Just hiding in choke points, but... Wow, you're actually doing solid damage even with, like, just a longbow on an armored unit. So yeah, down there, Louis actually took that like a champ, a lot better than I expected him to. But I did get pretty crazily lucky. Okay, that's going to be 15 damage, and that's going to be a break. So that'll leave you on 9. So I actually think that if I go for the Levin sword, yeah, which does 11, yeah, this should be enough, because then Louis is not going to take the hit from you if he's using that song started going pretty crazy there, actually. If he's using a smash weapon. Oh, I even get the Lapis chain attacks. Not that at all. Oh, and... Oh, yeah, there's Dual Assist. Yeah, it can activate in some weird circumstances. Like, there's really no way Tamara should be able to get in there.
That was eye-opening.
But, somehow it still allowed her to do that chain attack. Yeah, honestly, okay, that still counts, even if you... Even, like, really the only way Tamara would have been able to chain attack there is if Lapis moved. So, yeah, I guess it even counts spaces that you would otherwise not be allowed to stand on. That's kind of strange, but okay then. Right, there is... I need to zoom out my map a little bit for this, because... actually, sometimes it's good to look at your mini-map and to see ranges. Because that... Okay, that can't quite reach up there. So, in fact... If clan attack... Okay, you can attack over the wall. And you have so much HP that even my mages aren't really able to fully one-round you. Well, Ivy can, at least. Kind of interesting that the enemies just straight up decided to ignore me. Also, yeah, Alacrity is quite effective for mages against armored units. Because it kind of lets them just run right up to them and attack them. In fact, okay. Could Ivy have taken out that... Okay, this is a weird use of Time Crystal, but hang on a minute. Without a Leer, can Ivy finish you? Doesn't look like it, okay. Because, yeah, this is where Alacrity would be really useful, because Ivy... It would let Ivy basically one-round that guy without risking a counterattack. And it would open up Clan to... Okay. This could potentially end really badly, but in fact, because this could potentially end really badly, I'll do it last in my turn. Because I do not want Amber to get hit by all of those things at the same time. Okay, that's why Tamara is doing so well defensively. It's because she has that active right now. So the question is, do I actually vulnerary? I think I'm going to vulnerary myself up a little bit, and then... Yeah, that's not good damage at all, but it's at least a little bit of damage on the ranged attackers, unless she gets broken by the axe, which she probably will. I think only one thing should be able to attack Anna from there. And yeah, this is no damage at all, but it's kind of like why enemies sometimes like to attack if they'll get a chain attack, so it'll still do a little bit of damage. So what I was going for here was Dire Thunder against you, and I don't think anything else will be able to reach Sean from here. Do not exactly want somebody to suffer from death by awesomeness, though. I think it's okay if you stay there. And yeah, now, here is the moment where again, this could go badly.
Lend me your strength.
This could go really badly, but Bonded Shield, which means that Ivy can go adjacent to Aaliyah, attack with Hellfire, and nuke this guy before he can counterattack me with his spear because of Alacrity. Because, like, even though Ivy's speed is not the greatest, you're pretty much guaranteed to have Alacrity on armored enemies anyway, because they're just so slow. 750 individual combats, that's pretty nice. Now I just need to make sure that Clan doesn't, like, get doubled. Because as long as he doesn't die to a single attack, then he should be totally invincible thanks to Aaliyah, but those could be very, very bad famous last words. Okay, do you have any better avoid than that? Nope, that is the best avoid that you possibly have. So you're just going to have to brave this one attack and hope you don't get 9% crit, because...
Never underestimate me!
Well, okay, I won't underestimate you.
Oh, thank goodness.
I love it when people's crit quotes are appropriate to what I'm saying. Okay, I really, really sincerely hope that I did not make a serious miscalculation there. Ow, I am so glad there aren't any 3-range attackers in there, I think. Hopefully, please tell me there aren't any 3-range attackers in there. And that's why I equipped the Javelin. It's a little bit of damage. It's not like great damage, but it's a little bit of damage. Okay, that's a thing that happens. And that should get blocked. There we go. So now you are a roasty toasty fabrication.
For the divine dragon.
But you're not a princess, so I can't make that. I just kind of, like, it just popped into my head a thing of, I think it's the Lion King 2? It's just... It's just such a bizarre line where one of the villains just says, roasty toasty princess. Roasty toasty princess.
Sort of like
it's just
that,
so
maybe?
stupid. Okay, right, yeah, Clan is not getting magic. That does kind of worry me a bit. But I'm a little more worried about the... Like, so far, the flank that I was expecting to go badly didn't actually go that badly, and, like, I was expecting Louis to do, like, terribly, and this is flashbacks of me trying to attempt this map on Maddening mode. Trying to attempt is redundant, but still. On Maddening mode, let's just say I put a general in that bottom choke point, and they did not do well at all. They got pretty much shredded. So that was not, great. When this goes down, though, that mage is going to be able to run in.
You got it.
So this is where it's like, yeah, I kind of have to preemptively... oh, you have Rescue, not Warp. Warp's on Aaliyah. Warp is on Aaliyah. If Warp was on Jean, I could actually Warp Amber in there and potentially, and I think, like, one-shot that Sage. Ah, I really wish Warp was on Jean now. And I highly doubt Ivy's Astral Storm kills that. Don't even know if Ivy can even get Astral Storm right now.
Emblem.
I mean, I could try. Oh, just barely Astral Storm, but it doesn't actually kill. I thought so. Gotta remember that the enemies here actually are high enough leveled at their class skills now, so that guy gets guaranteed doubling if an ally is flanking you. However, I suppose technically Aaliyah can do this. I still love it when I just get when Bonded Shield does that, and it's just like, oh hey, I have oh, also Ivy. Oh no, actually she doesn't quite kill you, which I like because it means, I mean, Clan's a little over leveled as is, but still. Yeah, usually this is the flank of the map that I send Ike up, but that's just so that I recruit Ileana. Which, there's a lot of people who don't, like, realize that she's recruitable.
Oh, thank goodness.
It is just kind of an issue that Fire Emblem was kind of had with recruits sometimes. Like, what is obvious to somebody, like, as a veteran of the series? For example, Gaius. Like, my first time playing Fire Emblem Awakening, like, it is painfully obvious that Gaius is recruitable. Oh, you're being chain guarded, that's why. So, I can actually have Lapis... I don't know if I'm gonna need Lapis over on the other zone, though. Because, yeah, that right there gets rid of the chain guard. So, Louis can now... Rider's Bane... Yeah, he only does a tiny bit more damage with the Rider's Bane than he would be doing with the Great Lance. And he doesn't take damage anyway, so may as well just use the Great Lance. Thankfully, that warrior is not a hammer. And that's a great knight. See, this is actually one issue that I have with this game sometimes. It can be a little hard to tell Great Knights apart from Paladins on just the map screen. And they're both very different classes too, so it's often... I don't know, like, sometimes you do really need to know the difference between a Great Knight and a Paladin. I'm kind of wondering if it's actually time to abandon this front. If I drop you to 18... Yeah, Anna will be able to finish, but then she needs to be healed. Alternatively, Jean can just Dire Thunder. Although, I may... But then Anna doesn't get healed, okay. But will she even need to be healed if I get rid of all of the ranged attackers? Yeah. This could still backfire, though, potentially. We'll see. Okay, so... Step 1, Tamara actually does hit, which is good. And now Anna can finish. Hopefully finish with the Radiant Bow.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for not missing. Oh, and okay, now she has Merciless. So now she does 50% more damage if the enemy's broken, which is really funny with a Radiant Bow. But okay, yeah, that's not a ranged enemy. So, yeah, Jean can Dire Thunder this guy to death?
Me first.
Me first just reminds me of how it actually really bothers me that they translated that one Pokemon attack as Me First. I thought it sounded much cooler when it was Anticipation. Me First just sounds a little bit childish, but I guess that fits for Pokemon. So, what I'm afraid of is that guy busting down the wall. So you have a movement of, like, 4. So, 1, 2... Okay. And you have a movement of 4. Oh, no, you have a movement of 5. So when the wall goes down, 1, 2, 3, 4... I don't think he can, like, get to above Tamara, though. I don't think he can. Because if Amber's there and the wall goes down, I do think that both the General and the Sage will attack him in the same turn. I kind of don't want to do that, because if I do that, then it's possible Tamara could actually... 25 attack... Nah, she can't damage him. Okay, that's fine. I'm a little concerned about the potential damage from that on Tamara, but... Okay. Yeah, it's actually this right flank that is what I'm worried about right now, which is kind of what happens to me when I play this map in Path of Radiance as well. Usually I have, like, Oscar and Boyd defending this part of the map, but they've got, like, their epic Earth support helping them. Okay, right. So you do that, Tamara doesn't do any damage, which in this case is actually good, because it means that she doesn't suffer Death by Awesomeness. Speaking of Death by Awesomeness, wow, your accuracy sucks against a General. Still hasn't leveled up, though. Okay, I'm still a bit... Okay, so that gets broken down, that wall is gone, and yes, the Sage couldn't attack anybody. But Aaliyah could get attacked because you have Thunder. He exactly gets two-shotted, that's worrying. But now that's a... Like, my guard still works. And once again, we have the same situation Clan was in at the very start of the game. If he just gained 1... Oh. Thought for a second you were a ranged attacker attacking Anna. Yeah, I'm taking on this map way earlier than I should be, so it's making me nervous, but okay. Apologies if I get jumpy, but yeah, so, high reinforcements. Louis totally got that flank covered, so it's fine. Yeah, what I was saying was, if Clan had gained 1 point of magic in his last level up, that guy would be dead right now. Also, we have an Elthunder guy, which might be a little hard for me to take down with what I have here, because we're all like mages. And Ivy doesn't have Grasping Void yet.
Grant me strength.
If she were to engage though, she does do a little more damage with that. Oh, but if it weren't for the chain guard, she'd be doubling. It's just okay. That guy still existing is an issue. Okay, weird plan. Parthia.
I'll change the future into hope.
Does Lucina ever directly say that in Awakening? That sounds a little like more than you usually hear out of her. I just don't want anybody to be in range of that Sword Master is the thing. Yeah, I'd probably have to put like Clan in range of the Sword Master if I did that in any other way. So... But if I Astra Storm, then I don't know if Clan will be able to finish you off.
As if I'd lose.
Point blank Astra Storm! Let's see how this goes. Okay, that levels you up at least. Ivy's not been getting great levels, but she's still been doing quite well. I guess that's just sort of a sign of, like, you know, bases being better than growths in Fire Emblem a lot of the time. L-Surge? L-Surge does exactly enough. But does that mean the Swordmaster? Yeah, it does mean the Swordmaster can attack you. And I actually do need to kill that, because otherwise Aaliyah dies. 24 versus... Weirdly, I actually think Clan is okay. Because Clan's speed is amazing. So, this is... Although, he does get hit by you first. So, he's actually not okay. How far is my rescue range? Huh. I don't really want Clan to, like, get pulled away from that area, but he's cavalry, so he can get back there easily.
Here we go.
Okay, yes, that first one is a chain guard, but this one is not a chain guard. Don't celebrate just yet, Clan. Okay, Elthunder is kind of nice, but you gotta remember that that doesn't work with, you know, sorry, kind of panicking here for a second, but yeah, doesn't work with Olwen's, ring. The bros are... See, like, it's like... Okay, so they said that, like, Alfred is treating him like a brother. These two are kind of more like the brothers of my run so far. But now, here's the... Okay, there's a Swordmaster over there. So yeah, right now, like, this area is looking actually kind of really bad right now. Does Amber one-shot you? Only with the Steel Great Axe, which will cause him to get hit first, which will not end well. But, okay, the enemies that appeared down here are just generals, though. Oh, also, yeah, this skill's back from Fates. So, this is like your, like, this is the game's way of telling you that, like, look, you should not be fighting everything on this map. You should just be focusing on taking down Ike and ending it. Okay, weird plan here. I've been making a lot of weird plans in this chapter, but it kind of fits. That's not reliable accuracy, though. I need both her and Amber to hit.
Me first.
Oh, that would have actually been really good if it had hit, but oh well. Okay, at least Anna hit. So here's the thing, okay? So... If Amber gets hit by both the Swordmaster and the Warrior, he probably dies because the Swordmaster will double, but if I have both of us kill this Sage with longbows, again, Amber has to hit them. So instead of the longbow, let's use a regular bow, which will almost certainly hit. And that way, the Warrior will be able to attack Amber, but the Swordmaster won't.
Prince Diamond! I did it!
Oh, I haven't actually heard him say that before. So yeah, Swordmaster is not going to be able to attack. Warrior can attack. But Amber will probably not die to a single hit from that Warrior. I don't know if this is a great idea.
First one's free.
But I can send Lapis in here with her Armor Slayer. Oh, she takes 21 damage though, and then that means the Warrior will probably kill her, So in that case, Lapis is going to go here and attack with not the Armor Slayer. She just has to make sure that this general doesn't die. Meanwhile, Louis will finish you off, because you're like the only threat to him in this area right now. And that should be a level up.
So your tale ends.
Getting a lot of victory quotes that I haven't seen much of so far. And once more, no strength. Okay, that was the end of the turn. So please, I hope my calculations were indeed correct here. Okay, yeah, that's break. I'm okay with that, I think. That's 4 damage. That is just a Steel Lance. I was thinking for a second that one if you had a Smash Weapon, which would honestly be kind of cool to, like, smashing you out of a choke point. So yeah, that's, wow, that's actually way less damage and accuracy than I expected, but I think the Swordmaster is going to be running in, though. Oh, and they're going to heal. If the healers are acting now, does that mean there's nothing else? Okay.
My turn now.
Okay. Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. So we might end up actually seeing the thing that I missed on my first playthrough. Yeah. Like, I know there is at least one chapter in this game where the enemy does try and use smash weapons to knock you out of choke points, which is honestly a really cool idea. Yeah, these physics staves are getting annoying, so I'm gonna have to, yeah, it's still really funny to see people chain attack through walls with dual assist, but that is a thing that indeed happens quite a lot. Yeah, the Swordmaster hasn't moved in, and I'd honestly like to keep it that way. However, doing that is very tempting. That is extremely tempting, and it will get me 1,000 gold.
Me first.
Who cares about striking last when your enemy can't counter?
That settles it.
And yeah, enough for a, and that gets you merciless. So your damage will go even more insane. And yeah, again, 1,000 gold, which is nice, although Amber does get doubled by that. 27 attack on him.
Where to?
We'll see where that takes us eventually. So I'm going to go up there, continue to equip the Javelin, and heal, because that way I'm still in chain attack range. Because Clan can reach that. With this, then Anna can Radiant Bow this guy to death. She does need the chain attack to hit, though.
Me first.
Ah, and it didn't. That's actually pretty bad.
I'm here, Divine One.
I may be able to use Jean, though. Oh, and actually, you are... Once again, we need a chain attack to hit, though. Unless... 27 and... Actually, I think that's like... No, that's exactly enough. That should be exactly enough. Thank you, Levensword, being amazing. And of course, the chain attack hit that time.
I serve the Divine Dragon! For the Divine Dragon.
Clan really likes critting lately. Now, would you gain 1 point of magic, please? Yeah, this is kind of more typical Clan, honestly. That is kind of the thing. Growth rates do kind of average themselves out in the end.
Me first.
Okay, you hit that time.
I should learn from you.
Maybe. Not really sure learning from Tamara is the greatest of ideas, but... Because I would like to get rid of a lot of the other enemies before I take Ike on, because don't really want a lot of things covering him. He's dangerous enough as it is. Like, now I would love to have access to Micaiah's Great Sacrifice. I suspect they're going to try and break that wall. The thing is, I may want to regroup close to the fort for reasons. Though reasons that in my first playthrough I didn't actually see, like I've already mentioned. Alright, Ivy could heal Aaliyah. Which is what I may do. Yeah, why not?
Much improved.
Well, I mean, that at least gets you to Cancer a little further back. Still haven't used Call Doubles yet, but one day I might. Okay, Aaliyah needs one more health because he's going to be out of Chain Guard soon. And just like in that Path of Radiance map this is based on, the boss does eventually start moving. Well, that's not the boss, but you get the idea. It was the boss in Path of Radiance. Okay. Louis should be fine. He should be fine. Yeah, like, as you can see, you do get a lot of low % crit rates on you in Engage. So, Racket of Soul really helps with that. Speaking of which, though... no crit from the Swordmaster, but I'm seeing crit from Generals. Oh, and now these guys are just going to physic everyone. So, Ike is getting awfully close to this fort. And this is the reason why I wanted to kind of pull back everyone a lot. But yeah, Louis kind of needs some healing right now. So let's go and physic him. It's only a little bit of help.
Why, thank you.
Every bit helps. You not die.
I've got this.
Well, yeah, I suppose Anna should take this.
Oh, you're too nice.
I mean, some people would say that about Aaliyah. There's only a Swordmaster left there. So, okay, I can probably say this now because without me saying it, this will feel like a bit of a jerk move. Ike is going to smash this entire fort soon. So, you'll want to calculate the enemy's ranges, assuming that this fort is not here.
Of course.
Again, it is kind of a dumb, not dumb, it's a bit of a gotcha trap, but you can end this map before it happens. On Maddening, though, I actually prefer to provoke Ike with Astral Storm at the beginning, just so that he breaks the fort early, and then you just surround him and win. That's generally what I like to do. Okay, Okay, well, once again, though, we're in a situation where you kinda need to have a chain attack here.
Have another!
Okay, good. Lapis has been falling behind lately. Getting more strength is nice, though. She was a little reliant on Roy, though, so that makes sense. So, yeah, okay. Louis at least does have a healing item. So he can just chill here, because they're not breaking through him anytime soon. Let's just get a little bit of chip on this guy. Because I can actually not one-shot you with that. I mean, I'll get a little bit of damage, you know, anyway. Nope.
Thanks a ton!
Yeah, he's all the way to level 10. That's why I think it's pretty easy to level up Jean, just with the sheer amount of experience you get out of using staves in this game. I doubt anybody is in range once the fort goes down, but we shall see. I'm not going to skip these animations just in case any of these guys crit, because they could. I guess it's just that Louis' luck is really bad. It's interesting how steel weapons have a high crit rate in this game. Yeah, here we go. 90 damage with Demolish. And that leads the way for the cavalry to break through. It's just kind of interesting with the lack of, like, it does kind of add to this whole anti-choke point kind of mentality that, this game encourages. The problem is, I'm not really in a good position to fight Ike right now, but I also really need to kill these two cavalry, especially since they have Void Curse. So, like, there's no reason for me to leave them alive for much longer. Although, Jean does have really one off, even with Divinely Inspiring. I can get a little bit of damage on you with this first. Thankfully, I did not eat those words via a dodge. If I do this, he has to hit both of them. Or I could get the 33% Chimera chain attack.
Me first.
I did, okay. So now he only has to hit one. Yeah, see, that, like, that dual assist skill it helps a lot more than you'd expect. Oh yeah, you're the one with the Rider's Bane. But that's a heck of a lot of enemies that could potentially attack you if I do this, including Ike. And I can physic with a Leer. So okay then, let's try this. Okay. Iron Bow. No need to see this animation because it's Void Curse. Going to go ahead and physic Tamara just in case.
I feel great.
Well, hopefully you feel great after this enemy phase. Lapis only having 9 defense worries me a lot. Okay, that's your last vulnerary. Hopefully you hold out this turn. For some reason, you're all the way down those stairs now. I'm only doing this because I think Clan still survive. Hang on, that was stupid. He survives a spear, but he'll kill, which means the other spear will attack him and then he'll die. Right, I'm dumb. That was really stupid. That was really stupid.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did, and now you're about to die unless you get really lucky with a dodge. Unless... maybe the other... unless the AI is prolonging my suffering. Can the other guy even reach? I think he still can. Yeah, he can. Okay, yeah, right. So either this misses or I have to rewind. Yeah, that was stupid. There was, yeah, no real reason for me to do that apart from a bit of experience on Clan, but at least I can dry run and see if I kill somebody here.
It's kind of strange to face off against you. I mean, it was my duty to safeguard your ring.
So, yeah, the canonical wielders of the emblems get boss dialogue, and that leads to something very interesting with Lucina, but now's not the time to talk about that.
Is it hard for you to see me as your opponent?
No. I mean, I want to show you how strong I am.
Good answer. Now show me what you can do.
Oh, that is a lot more damage than I thought Tamara would be taking. And it is Ike, but still. Ooh. Is the Paladin gonna kill her? No, but that will. So, okay, I was screwed either way. The thing is, I probably have to chain guard Ivy here as much as I would really like to freeze that fabrication. Okay, what happens now? Okay, that's chain guarded at least. Oh yeah, and because the hammer's a smash weapon, I get both of my attacks in first. And because that was a chain guard, I don't get smashed either. So what are the paladins doing? That's the real question here. They are going for... Are you serious? That was almost fine. Come on. Well, okay, I suppose to be perfectly honest, there was no reason why Clan needed to go there. For some reason, you didn't heal Ike, but maybe he wasn't in range. Well, Ike was certainly in range of you. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, a lot of these maps like to just spam reinforcements once the boss is aggroed. The message is clear. Just focus on the boss. Don't worry about anything else in this map. Like, there's plenty of experience for your chosen team of 12 in this game. So, yeah, let's just go straight for taking down Ike, and on that regard, let's go ahead and do this. I want to see if he's weak to armor slayers, actually.
That's on me.
Yeah, well, that kind of is on you for equipping the hammer. Oh, I'd have to move Ivy, though, and I don't exactly want to, considering that she's my best shot at taking down. And there's also Jean. Yes, that kills you. Let's avoid doing that. Actually does... Okay, so this should be a boss conversation. I'm just doing this just for that.
I like that look in your eye. It's clear your fighting spirit is strong.
I know the only way I'll beat you is to fight harder than you.
Then you understand what lies ahead. Now show me you can fight as well as you talk.
And you don't get smashed if you initiated combat, so there we go. And then, this means Ivy won't get divinely inspiring from attacking from here, but she kind of needs to take down his health a bit. Because, yeah, magic against Ike. As I said earlier, Ike retains his severe allergy to magic from Radiant Dawn. Something that him and Dimitri kind of share as far as Fire Emblem protagonists go. They're ridiculously strong in combat, but they have an Achilles heel, and that's magic. So, like, if I use the Armor Slayer, is that effective? Oh. Right, maybe it isn't effective. Oh, and also, yes, Ike's crit rate goes up as his health goes down, so, because of Wrath, so you'll need to keep that in mind too. That's why, if he doesn't have Ragnall equipped, it's a good idea to attack him from range. So you don't have to worry about that.
Allow me.
Okay, well, that actually works out pretty well, because that might actually let Tamara win and get a lot of experience for her.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah, we already saw that.
It was a good fight.
So good that he did a backflip in the air. Okay, so that started out pretty smoothly, but it got increasingly clumsy the further into that map I got. Yeah, oftentimes I find it's better to lure in Ike and defeat him before he breaks the forts, because once he does, you have to contend with a lot of enemies at once. The kind of logic behind this map is quite similar to Fire Emblem Fates Conquest Chapter 10, in that it's better to take out as many enemies as possible early, so that when everything rushes you at the end, you're not overwhelmed. But hey, I did that, and that's a little earlier than you're meant to do that paralogue, so I should at least be content with that. And, like, most of my rewinds were entirely due to, like, just complete stupidity rather than, you know...
Great work. You overcame the trial well.
Not having the stats to actually do this. Like, for example, Clan getting crit there was no reason to put him in range anyway.
Thank you, Ike.
You should know that going forward, the fighting's gonna get more intense.
Then that scares me.
It's important to remember that you're a leader, and you must not give in to the pressure. In this war, there can be no retreat.
You're right. If we run away, the world will be covered in darkness. But I worry that fighting this hard may be too much for everyone. Or too much for me.
There are people who need your help. Don't worry, you're more than capable. And when it seems your spirit might break, it's the bonds you forge that will win the day.
I still hate that the non-extended script gets rid of that speech that Ike makes to his final boss, because it's referenced in Heroes, it's kind of a big part of his character, and it's just not in the English script of Radiant Dawn that we got.
I'll hold your words in my heart.
It's talking about, it's not so much about like friendship and bonds, but more about the human capacity for love, even though they might make mistakes sometimes.
Don't worry. If it looks like you've forgotten it, I'll be there to remind you.
By whacking you upside the head with a hammer. This leads me to something kind of funny, is that like, if Aaliyah dies with an emblem, the emblem will say something, and Ike's one is kind of hilarious.
You'll be by my side? Always?
Always.
Thank you, Ike. I'm glad to know you're here with me.
But for the time being, we've now unlocked Ike's max bond level, so let's discuss that. Ike's stat bonuses cap out at plus 7 HP, plus 4 strength, and plus 5 defense. And at bond 18, Resolve upgrades to Resolve Plus, giving plus 7 to defense and resistance when below 75% HP. But the most infamous part of Ike's kit is his bond level 13 sync skill, Wrath. For some reason they gave Ike 4 sync skills. Wrath gives plus 1 to critical rate during combat for every HP Ike's bearer has lost, up to a maximum of plus 30. As you can tell, this stacks quite well with Resolve and also works very well in combination with Vantage if you had the foresight to inherit that from Leaf earlier. Combine with Lynn's Engrave on a weapon, and you can easily reach crit rates of at least 70%, letting Ike's user tank a hit and then annihilate the enemy in response. Though as most high crit weapons are one range only, this doesn't work as well against ranged opponents, but for that, Ike has an answer, Ragnall at bond level 15. This is a very strong sword that is 1 to 2 range and physical, a rarity for this weapon type, and also gives defense plus 5. As a quick correction, I was wrong about Irvan earlier, it gives resistance plus 3, not 5. Ike's higher level inheritance mostly consists of stronger versions of axe power, still great, but still really expensive, defense plus 4 and plus 5, and his sync skills. Now, several characters might want to inherit Wrath. I personally feel 2000 SP is a lot to ask for this. Perhaps because you also need to inherit Vantage to get the most out of this. Sometimes just having Wrath on Ike's user is enough.
Ah.
I mean, that's impressive considering that your father had actually made it so that he couldn't ever wield a sword again. But there you are, Panette. Finally, I can talk about her too.
Retribution is due.
Panette's personal base strength is among the highest in the game, and after factoring in her class, her overall base strength is the highest in the game. She also starts with incredible HP, and decent dex for an axe user. Her speed is a little iffy, but as I've said before, there are ways to work around it, either through Lyn, other speed boosters, or making her so strong she only needs to hit once. And that's not difficult, as she's tied with Amber for the highest personal strength growth outside of DLC. She also has great HP, a good personal dex growth, and enough defense and speed personal growths to be fixed with reclassing. But what Panette is most infamous for is her personal skill, Blood Fury. It grants crit plus 10 whenever her HP is below max, and as you can probably tell by when I've given this bio, this stacks with Ike's Wrath. With those two and a Lyn engraved killer axe, it's not uncommon for Panette to have a 100% critical rate. Which means, if given Vantage, she has essentially infinite durability against one-range enemies, as anything that tries to attack her will immediately die. I've said before that Engage is a player phase focused game, that kind of goes out the window when you're using the Ike Panette combo. Some people consider it a beginner's trap and say that Panette is better with some other emblems. But personally, if you're new to Engage, and especially if you're new to Maddening, this is one of the easiest overpowered builds to make, and it will make your Maddening experience a lot easier. And for that reason, I recommend it. You generally don't want to stay in Berserker though. Warrior is common, and I've had success with Wyvern Knight Panette. Though Panette is a strange one to reclass because of her default proficiencies. For some reason her blue proficiency is knives, not axes. I guess they wanted to have some kind of kinship between her and Merrin implied? Or they wanted you to make her a wolf knight? In any case, it's not hard to reclass her, but it does mean her axe rank isn't as high as it could be in classes like Wyvern Knight. So, with that over, as we go and clean up, and this place is considered Brodia, so we'll probably be getting a lot of medals out of this. This is why I recommend it, even if you don't care about skirmishes. Raise Brodia's level early, because there is a surprisingly large amount of maps in Brodia, and it's nice to get a lot of extra medals from them. But now I can talk about my thoughts on Path of Radiance. Well, yeah, I kind of already went into them, but I first got Path of Radiance, I believe it was the second Fire Emblem game I ever played. I saw a preview of it in a game magazine at one point, and I didn't follow any more information on it at all. And then one day I went into my local game store and it was there on the shelf, and I was just like, oh hey, that's out, might as well buy that. And I'm glad I did, because the game is disgustingly hard to get now and sells for stupidly large amounts of money because a lot of people want it. Because Ike's in Smash Brothers, and people want to find out what game he's from, and people seem to like him there, and people keep saying good things about Path of Radiance. So, Nintendo, please do a GameCube Virtual Console, and put Path of Radiance on it. I'm sure people would very much appreciate that. Like, if they, honestly, if they did that, and even if they, okay, I'm not saying, I'm not a huge fan of the Expansion Pass Plus, I don't actually own it personally, but, if they put a GameCube Virtual Console in, and had Path of Radiance as a game, I would seriously recommend people get Expansion Pass Plus just for that, because Path of Radiance is interesting because, on paper, it has a lot of the same flaws that that make me not as inclined to replay Blazing Sword anymore. The fact that enemies are very weak relative to your party, and the game is just incredibly easy. They removed not Maddening, it was called Lunatic Mode back then. They removed that difficulty from the English version, which was originally the hardest difficulty mode in Path of Radiance, but even then, from people who've actually played that, the general consensus is it's more tedious than actually difficult. Finally, I can adopt an eagle. Path of Radiance lacks a particularly fun high difficulty mode, I should just say, and that's kind of bad because it means that the gameplay is it definitely gets pretty easy. But like, why do I still like it and more than I do Fire Emblem 7? Well, I think the reason is that the cast of Path of Radiance are all very fun to use in terms of gameplay. They all have, like, pretty good growth rates. You can kind of use anyone you want. The Bo's experience system makes it great to just do fun challenge runs where you use obscure characters like Brom. You can quite easily keep people caught up with the level curve just via Bo's experience. Well, I mean, this is about the point that Ike's merchants joined him, so Anna, you actually would get some good good customers if you shut up shop here. And also the maps, I honestly find the maps in Path of Radiance quite enjoyable too. I do find that they're pretty decently designed overall. But there's also the fact that Tellius has actually no, I've said before that I actually think Three Houses is my favourite cast of characters. It's still hard to say. But for nostalgia purposes, yeah, Path of Radiance had my favourite characters in the entire series. And it's still at the very least second. And I also really like Path of Radiance itself. Its story is it's simple, but it is probably the best simple story in the Fire Emblem series. Like, it does what it needs to do. There's a lot of people who feel like the anti-racism plot is a little bit too heavy-handed, but to be honest, I don't think you can be heavy-handed enough with that kind of thing, especially in this day and age. So I'm fine with it. Again, the characters are great. The base system, it was the game to introduce, like, a hub area. And even though you couldn't, like, walk around it, I love the base conversation concept. And that really needs to be in more games. It lets people still contribute to, like, story dialogue, even if, like, you don't use them and don't get their supports. It's just such a cool system overall. And, forging could be a little weird, like, especially in the Japanese version where there was a bug that let you forge a weapon up to 255 critical. Thanks to an underflow glitch if you lowered a weapon's critical when forging from 5 to 0. But I believe Path of Radiance was the first game to actually have a forging system too, so it was a pretty influential Fire Emblem, all things considered, and I still think, like, in terms of basic Fire Emblem gameplay and basic Fire Emblem story, Path of Radiance is the best one. I still maintain that if it was more accessible, that is the game I would recommend new fans start with. Because it's not too difficult, the gameplay is simple to grasp, the story is good, the characters are good, and you probably know who Ike is from Smash Brothers. And Ike is a really, really good protagonist as well. So, yeah, as I go through the arena, it's, like, honestly, I've kind of already said my piece about Path of Radiance. It's just a general, all-around solid game. I suppose something that people have criticized lately...
Let's have some fun, shall we? This calls for a victory song!
is that the battle animations are very slow and can be a little clunky sometimes. But it is the kind of game that, like, I know that a lot of people kind of want, like, a Path of Radiance remake, maybe. Personally, I'd actually rather an HD remaster than a remake. I think it could really benefit from that kind of treatment. I think it's honestly aged well enough that it doesn't need a full remake.
Ivy, Crown Princess of Elusia.
I am Bunet, Royal Soldier of Soul.
Finally, this has happened. I'm going to enjoy this. Just don't 8% crit me, please. Thank you.
Defeat has left a bitter taste in my mouth.
Lucky, I suppose.
I mean, you kind of would and not get hit by the 8% crit, like Clan did. Also now... this is going to cost me a lot of bond fragments, but I wonder if it's worth it just for Wrath.
Say, Amber, how does alpaca meat taste? Is it any good?
What? Alpacas aren't food. They're only for cuddling and being best friends.
Using Amber with Ike has not disappointed so far. And I haven't even used him in gameplay yet. Oh yeah, once you're at rank 11, you do stay engaged for an additional turn. I can't believe I forgot to mention that so far. But I think this is where I'll call things for now. And I'll see you next time when... yeah, let's stop with the paralogs. That was enough for one lifetime-ish. I say that, and there are paralogs later that are going to be far worse than that. Far worse. Would you believe that I consider Ike's one of the easier ones? Next time, we'll head out and finally rescue Tamara's mother. See you all then.